I played and ranked every YouTube playable so you don't have to. Playables is just another name for the games on YouTube. There are about 122 by the time I'm recording this video, and I've played and ranked every single one. Some are fun and some aren't, but this list is purely subjective, so don't feel down if your favorite game gets ranked low. The tiers goes as follows. Unplayable, which later gets changed to unfun, is a game that I didn't have much fun with or couldn't hook me into play for too long. Playable is a game that's alright and I can play for a bit, but I couldn't see myself getting invested in it longer than an hour. Beats boredom are games that stood out to me and I could see myself playing anytime I'm bored. Decent are games that I could either see myself playing to completion or playing for a while. Fun games I genuinely had fun with, whether they were short or long. I've also made this template publicly available, so if you want to make your own list, you can. The link will be in the description. Now without further ado, let's begin with My Mini Mart. My Mini Mart is a tycoon game which you manage a mini mart. There's a lot of walking back and forth to purchase items and upgrades for your mini mart, so it's a simple game. I don't see myself playing for too long. Overall, it's playable. Decor Life was a game that I surprisingly liked a lot. You clean a room, place furniture, and decorate it. You need to do this for other people in order to decorate your own house though. I think the game looks nice and I found it pretty enjoyable, so it'll go in decent for now. Thief Puzzle is a puzzle game where you stretch your long arm around obstacles to steal valuables. The puzzles are really easy and don't require much thinking, so I'm just putting it in playable. Supreme Duelist is a stick fighting game. You can either push them off the ledge into obstacles or take them out with the weapon of your choice. The controls are clunky and I didn't have too much fun playing it, so I'm putting it on unplayable. Palm and Run is one of those games you'll get as an ad while playing a mobile game. It's pretty repetitive and it's easy, but for some reason I couldn't stop playing. Also, there's a bug with the zipline that just straight up throws you through the map. It's an alright game, but it's surprisingly addictive, so I'll put it in Beats Boredom. Race Master 3D is a racing game with crazy tracks and obstacles. You can upgrade your car with the money you get from winning to beat even harder races. It's pretty solid, so the game goes in decent. Bridge Race is a game where you collect bricks to build a bridge. You're up against bot opponents, so it's almost impossible to lose. It's not the worst thing in the world that it's super easy, so it's playable. In Stealth Master, you have to sneakily take out all the enemies within a building and proceed to the elevator. You do this by avoiding their lines of sight and shooting them when they least expect it. After a few levels, you'll have to challenge a boss and have to shoot him multiple times to take him out. You can also use the money you get to upgrade yourself and get different weapons. It was pretty fun, so I'm putting it in fun. Tropical Merge is one of the many reskin games you'll see later on. It didn't really hook me in at the start, so I didn't even really bother with this one too much. You basically need to merge things to create new things and complete quests. It's unplayable to me. Fashion Battle is a game I thought was going to be like Fashion Famous on Roblox. Instead, you just walk down a runway and pick a piece of clothing out of 3 options. You're against a bot, and at the end it'll compare what you picked to what the bot picked. It's really simple and there's not much to it, it'll just go unplayable. Words of Wonders is a word matching game. I quite like these types of games. It makes me feel dumb when there's such an obvious word, but it takes for me forever to get it. It's simple and addicting to play, so I'll put it in Beats Boredom. Block Drop is a game I don't really like. It's like Tetris if you could just place the blocks anywhere. You have to find the perfect place to put them, and then when it covers the whole length of the tiles, they will break and you'll get the points. Again, I'm not really a fan of this one, so it's unplayable to me. 2048 Fusion is pretty much just 2048. Except this one has power-ups. It's a pretty classic game. I'm sure everyone has played it at least once, so I'm putting it in Beats Boredom. Here's another classic. 8-Ball Billiards Pool. It's a classic pool game where you have stripes and solids and have to compete to see who sinks their colors first. I got destroyed by the bot in this game, but I still had a good time, so it beats Boredom. 99 Balls 3D is a game where pegs come down after every turn and you have to shoot the balls at them. You get more and more balls as the game goes, and the pegs get tougher and tougher. It's an alright game, so it gets playable. Adorable Home is a game where you decorate your house and do mini games like make a bento box. There's nothing wrong with the game, but for some reason at the time I was not vibing with it. Maybe I was a little harsh, but at this time it'll be unplayable. Alien Shooter is like Space Invaders with upgraded graphics. Aliens come down to you and move across the screen and you have to shoot them. It's a solid Space Invader game, it goes unplayable. Amaze is a game where you have to paint all the tiles on the screen. It's pretty simple and sometimes you might have to pause to think about your next move, but not too much. There's a game coming later that's like a better version of this, so this gets playable for now. A game I didn't expect to see on here was Angry Birds. In Angry Birds Showdown, you battle a bot to pop each other's pigs first. They try to make it seem like the bot is a real person, but it's not. I do like the idea, it's solid, so it gets decent. I quite enjoyed Attack Hole. You start off as a small hole, and you have to eat ammo to grow bigger and get better ammo. You then have to use this ammo to fight the boss at the end. It's repetitive but pretty addicting, so right now I'm putting it in Beats Boredom. Ball Blast is a game you have to play as a suspiciously shaped cannon that shoots the balls in the sky. You cannot let them crush you or you lose. It's simple, and you can get power-ups from some of the balls. I'll put this one in playable. In Basket Battle, you play as a little man that has to shoot the ball in the hoop. You can teleport to your ball and time slows when you're about to shoot your shot. You go against a boss, but it poses little to no threat because you can beat levels within seconds. Basketball Forever is a game where you have to endlessly shoot balls into hoops. It's pretty difficult and there's not much to it, so it gets playable. I maybe should have ranked Bazooka Boy a little higher at the time, but it's alright. It's like Worms where you get a bazooka and have to angle it in the right place where it'll hit the enemies. You can kill yourself quite easily, so sometimes it's not that easy. Right now it goes in playable. Also at this time, I changed unplayable into not fun because I felt like unplayable was a bit too harsh. Volley Beat feels a specific interest. It's a rhythm game where you move the ball over the tiles so it doesn't fall, all while Indian music plays in the background. It only has a few songs, but it does have endless versions. It's playable. Bottle Jump 3D was pretty disappointing. You have to flip the bottle and land on platforms to reach the end. It's pretty hard to lose, and you can even double jump. I expected it to be way harder than it was, so it's just going not fun. While ranking this one, I also changed the ranking of Basketball Forever and Fashion Battle. Green Out is a pretty tricky riddle game. It'll say one thing but mean something completely different. It's pretty clever and makes you feel dumb sometimes. The audio for this game sounded like it was compressed a billion times though, and it really dampened the experience, so it's just going unplayable for now. Bubble Pop Star is one of the classic bubble shooter games where you shoot balls out of a cannon and stick them to the stack on the top. You have to match the colored balls together to pop them and get the points. It's pretty slow paced, so this one just gets playable. Bubble shooter is just like the last one, but it throws you into the deep end is a lot quicker. I enjoyed it a little bit more, but it still gets playable. Cannonballs 3D is a pretty enjoyable game where you shoot at blocks with a cannonball to knock them down. It's not the hardest game, but it's surprisingly fun, especially with the levels where you can shoot an infinite amount of cannonballs. This one goes and beats boredom. Cards of the Undead is a game I came in expecting to dislike. I'm not too good at card-based games as you'll see later on, but this one is pretty good. You have armor and health and have to take out zombies, avoid traps, and gather health and armor to keep yourself alive. The grid is small so every move has to be calculated or else you're done for. I had fun playing this. The next game is just chess. I'm not good at chess, so of course I lost. But just because I lost doesn't mean it's a bad game. It goes and beats boredom. Collect Them All is a strange matching game where you have to draw a line to match 3 or more balls together and get points. I'm not really into games like these, so it's just not fun. At first I thought Color Burst was going to be like Candy Jump on cool math games, but it wasn't. It's like a 3D version of it, and at first I had trouble with the controls, but I eventually got used to it. It goes unplayable. Color Match is an interesting game where you're given a set of colors and have to try to closely match the colors shown. It did require some thinking, and I did find it a bit enjoyable. I was going to rate this a little lower, but at the end I got a 100% match, so it goes and beats boredom. Color Page is just not fun. It pretty much does everything for you, and you just have to tap once and let go. After you outline, you can color it in, but that's pretty much it. It's very handholdy and not very fun. Color Pixel Art Classic is a coloring game where you fill pixels in one by one to make a picture. It does get repetitive, but it's not as bad as the last one. It's just playable. Crazy Caves is like Ball Blast, but I like it a lot more. Instead of being a suspiciously shaped cannon, you are a miner in a cart. The power-ups you get are bought from the coins you gather while playing and are permanent unlike the cannon game. This one is a lot better, so it beats boredom. Cube Master 3D is very simple. You just match the tiles and dismantle the cube. It's not the best thing and it can be completed very quickly. I think I changed the rank of this later, but for now it's going into playable. Cube Tower is a game that I maybe should have spent more time in. It's a tower defense, which I do like, but I think if I spent more time in it, it would have gotten a lower rank. So far there's 3 towers and you can upgrade them when your bar fills a certain percent. I did have fun while playing it, so I'll put in decent. I'm pretty sure everyone knows Cut the Rope. It's such a classic, and Om Nom is a cute little creature. It's a puzzle game where you cut the rope to get the candy to Om Nom. It's simple and fun, but sometimes it makes you really think to get all the 3 stars. This one definitely goes in fun. The daily crossword is literally just a daily crossword. I'm not really good at crosswords at all, and I don't find them enjoyable either, so I'm just going to place it in not fun. Next up we have Daily Solitaire. It's another game that I'm not good at, probably because I have no clue how to play. It's a skill issue like most of these rankings, but it's still going to not fun. Just like the previous game, it's another Solitaire, so it's going in the same tier as the last. Dessert DIY is a weird game where you make desserts for people. I chose to make a dessert out of literal poop because that's an option for some reason. It's strange and I didn't have too much fun with it. Similar to My Mini Mart, Dig Deep is another game where you walk back and forth, except in this one you just dig a big hole and deposit what you've dug. It's alright, but it's not my thing, so it's playable. Top 2 is one of the games on this list I've had the least fun with. You basically have an eraser and you have to erase one part of the level. It's super easy and you can beat all the levels just by dragging the eraser around anywhere. It's going to not fun. Top 4 is just like Top 2, but instead you draw instead of erase. It's a little better because you can draw whatever you want, so I drew a bunch of wieners. It's still super easy and most likely not made for my age group. It's better than 2, so it's playable. Draw Climber is a game where you draw wheels for your cube to finish the race. It has different obstacles and you need different wheels for each one. It's pretty unique, but sometimes one wheel can finish the whole course. It's playable. Draw the Line is a neat little game where you draw the path for your ball to make it to the finish line. You can make the path however you like and you can even go backwards. I did have some fun with this and thought it was a unique concept, so I put it in beats boredom. Just like Color Page, Drawing Carnival holds your hand the whole time. There's a little more freedom on certain parts, but I still thought it wasn't that fun. While ranking this one, I also took the time to sort the list a little bit more, but I didn't change any of the tiers. Element Blocks is just like Block Drop, but it looks a little different. It's still the same thing where you place blocks to fill out the grids. I still didn't have that much fun with this one, so it goes right next to Block Drop. Emoji Puzzle is probably one of the worst games on the list. You just draw a line between the emojis that are similar and that's it. It's repetitive and boring, it goes to not fun. Endless Siege is another tower defense game, but this time it's just endless. You gain a few towers and can upgrade and evolve them as the game goes. I just put down a ton of cannons and was able to get pretty far into it. I like tower defenses, so this one goes and beats boredom. Fairyland Merge and Magic is just Tropical Merge reskinned. Everything works and looks the exact same, I won't even bother with it. Not fun. Farmland is basically the same as My Mini Mart and Dig Deep. You gather your resources and deposit it over and over to progress. So just like the other two games, this one just gets playable. Find Out is a puzzle game where you have to find an object, kind of like Where's Waldo. The only difference is some items require a puzzle to be solved in order for that item to appear. It's pretty neat, but sometimes it can get really frustrating, so it's playable. Find the Alien is a simple game where you scan the people to look for an alien and then shoot the alien. It's not difficult and it's not very fun either. Flappy Dunk is just like Flappy Bird, but you have to dunk the ball in the hoop. There's nothing wrong with it, but there's not much room for loss, so it's just you dunking the ball over and over. It's not very fun. I debated with myself to rank this a little higher, but in the end I didn't. Flow Legends is like Where's My Water and a pipe turning game. It'll switch between the two games often and it's interesting but not hard. It's playable. Fork and Sausage is a visually really nice game. So far it's not hard, but more and more objects get added to the levels the further you get into it. The objective is just to get the sausage onto the fork and that's it, but it's nice to play, so I'll put it in decent. Next up is another Solitaire, and guess what? I still don't know how to play, so it's still going on fun. At this point, I decided to let my girlfriend play because she knows how and I needed Solitaire footage. Free Kick Football is a game I'm surprisingly bad at. You have to kick the soccer ball into the goal and depending on where you land it, you get more points. I don't see too much of a point in it and I didn't really have much fun either. Gin Rummy is another card game that I still have no clue how to play, so I'm putting in not fun for now. Guess the answer is a simple game where you're given a prompt and have to name as many things related to that prompt. You're up against a bot to see who can get more words and whoever does wins. It's playable. Helix Jump is a game I maybe would have ranked higher if I didn't play Stack Bounce a ton in the past. Your goal is to fall through the holes while avoiding the dangerous tiles. It's pretty simple, yet challenging, so I'm putting it in playable for now. Hide and Seek is a good concept for a game, but it doesn't really work because it's not online. The hiders can see the seekers anytime and rescue the hiders that are caught while avoiding the seeker. The seeker can only see in a limited area and have to rely on small details to find the hiders like water splashes or footprints. This game would be ranked higher, but it's only single player, so it's just playable. Hill Climb Racing Light is a game I'm sure we've all played at least once in the past. You need to drive your car without flipping it, and to do that you need to know when to brake and when to accelerate. It's challenging yet fun, so it goes in decent. Homo Evolution is a clicker and a mergey at the same time. You can merge animals to get different ones and then click them to gain money to get even more animals to merge. It's pretty simple and wasn't all that bad, so it beats boredom. Idle Restaurant is an idle game where you earn money over time from the customers and use that money to upgrade your chef to get more money. It's a standard idle game and I thought it was not fun. Jules Planet is a match 3 swap game where you match the colors to get the points. It's simple and nothing new. It's not that fun. Knock 'em All is kind of like a rail shooter where you go along a path and shoot enemies. It's really easy and the enemies don't pose a threat. It gets boring after a bit, so it goes in not fun. The next game is basically a board game, sorry, but it has power-ups. You roll the dice to escape your own and try to go across the whole board without getting knocked out. It's nothing special, it also gets not fun. Same as the last, it's sorry, but this time without the power-ups. So it just gets not fun. Lunchbox Ready is a game where you place food in a box however you want. I don't find it enjoyable, so it gets not fun. After so many not funs, Magic Cat Academy comes to save us all. It originated as a Google Doodle, but they've ported it over here too. It's a really fun but short game where you draw the shapes shown above the ghosts. You have to be really fast or else you'll lose lives. This is probably my all-time favorite out of everything here because it's also quite nostalgic. This definitely goes in fun. Now we go back down with Mahjong Solitaire. I semi know how to play this game, unlike normal Solitaire. I'm still not very good at it. You need to match the tiles, but the tiles can't be surrounded by anything else. The game is not too fun for me. Makeup Kit Color Mixing was the first out of a few to completely not work for me. I had to grade a whole new tier for games that don't work. If you can get it to work, let me know if it's good or not. Mecha Galleon is a game I started off really liking. You need to weave the enemy attacks while attacking back. My only problem is when you unlock things like the rocket launcher, you can just stun lock the enemies and there's not too much of a challenge. This one just gets playable. Merge Heroes is a tower defense combined with merging. You can freely pick up and place your towers at any time since you need to merge them, which is different for most tower defenses. It's a game that I honestly should have played a bit more to get a better feel for it, but for now it gets playable. Merge Master is another merge game, but this time you fight head-on battles with the bot. You get your troops, merge them in the fight. It's pretty much the same thing, and it's not really hard, it's playable. Merge Pirates is a puzzle game. You're not really fighting anything, you're just trying to see how high you can merge your ships. You need to think ahead to get high scores. It also goes unplayable. Merge's Kingdom is the last reskin of Fairyland Merge and Magic and Tropical Merge. It looks and plays exactly like the other two, so I just clicked off the second I realized. Unfun. Mob Control is a game I was pretty excited for. I played the mobile version and was expecting the same thing, but I was disappointed when it was just a watered down version, missing all the things I liked about the normal version. It goes in unfun. Moving Code is a repetitive game where you pack 2 of the same items in a box. Each level is basically the same, just adding more things to pack each time. I didn't really have any fun with it. My Perfect Hotel is just like My Mini Mart, Dig Deep, and Farmlands. It's another tycoon type game, but this time you manage a hotel. You need to check in guests, clean the rooms, and collect payment to get more rooms. It's playable. My Space Pet is a game where you take care of a little pink creature. You can play some minigames to have fun with it, or to help it sleep. These minigames aren't that fun, so it goes in unfun. Northern Heights is a snowboarding game that I found pretty good. There's only one button, but that's all you really need. You click to speed up down the slope, or come downward after getting airtime. I had a really good time trying to see how high I could fly. It beats boredom. Omnom Run is a stand on Omnom's character. It's a level based runner that couldn't really hook me in like the original Cut the Rope did. For right now, it's just playable. On It Connect is a game where you need to match the tiles together to remove them. It's not very fun because it seems like the only thing you can do. Pac-Man Superfast is literally just Pac-Man. Nothing's changed at all. It's a good game, but I won't be blinded by nostalgia this time, so it just gets decent. Paper.io 2 is a game where you have to take over most of the map or eliminate the bots to win. You get a line that follows you, and if someone touches it, you die. You can also do the same with the opponent to secure the lead. It's a solid game that gets decent. Parking Jam is a puzzle game where you have to get the cars out of the parking lot in a certain order without bumping other cars. It's not too hard because it usually follows the same pattern of getting rid of the outer cars and then working inwards. It just gets playable. Phone Case DIY reminds me of the ice cream game and the bento game. There's only one thing to do, and that's make a phone case. You are given more freedom in design for the case, but it's still not very fun. Fire Pop is another level-based bubble popping game. It has some power-ups and a little pirate dude, but it's not too fun. Pocket Battle Royale is a top-down battle royale. You can get different weapons from taking out opponents or opening chests. You have to stand still to shoot, and it's kind of slow-paced. It's just playable. Pocket Champions is a top-down game where you take turns shooting balls into nets. There's a lot of obstacles, so it's not that easy. And I'm totally not ranking this game because I scored on myself and lost though. Pokeball is an addicting little game where you fling a ball upwards and have to stick it to the wall. You have to do this multiple times to reach the top and win. It's pretty repetitive, but it's not bad. It's just playable. Polysphere is one of the games that didn't work for me, so it goes in unplayable for now. Rainy Boba Cafe is a chill game where you make boba for your little animal friends by filling up the cup to the designated lines. I wasn't going to rank it too high, but the atmosphere of this game is incredible. I love the art style and the music, but most of all I love the rain. It's repetitive though, so it just beats boredom. Retro Drift is one of those games you'll see kids play in the class all the time. You have to turn sharp corners quickly while trying not to fall off the map. It's an endless game, and it's pretty simple, so it's playable. Running Pet is another runner game that I didn't bother too much with at this point. It follows how a standard runner works, but I did see some features at the bottom I didn't get to. It's playable. In Scooter Extreme, you along with multiple bots race to the end while doing flips and avoiding obstacles. The ragdolls are pretty funny, but there's not much after that, so it's playable. Sculpt People was pretty disappointing because I thought I would actually get to sculpt, but it really just holds your hand the whole time. You do get some choices, but it's usually nothing big. Not fun. Slice It All is one of those mobile game ads you'll often see. You flip the knife to slice the obstacles and earn points. It's pretty satisfying, but there's not much else. It just gets playable.
Slime.io. This game is basically a Gary-O, but in 3D. You just play as slime, Slat. I'm a huge fan of my slime, you know what I'm saying? Free Young Thug. Game is okay, and for that reason, I'm gonna be placing it in boredom.
Stack Bounce is one of those games you'll see under TikToks or YouTube Shorts. Sometimes I get lost playing it though. It's entertaining enough to keep you occupied, which is why it stays and beats boredom rank. Stacky Dash, in my opinion, is just a better version of a maze. You don't need to fill out the entire maze, but doing so will reward you with a higher rank. The more you progress, the harder these puzzles get. Overall, it's pretty easy, but I rank it at beats boredom. States.io is a simple strategy game where you try to claim the land around you, and increase your numbers as you continue to go against more and more bots. You have to try to survive being destroyed by rival states. I think this game beats boredom as you can find yourself trapped in a loop of playing. Super Goal is a game where you need to work with your many characters on the field to score a goal. It's a cool concept, but sometimes the AI is wonky and you'll lose. It's alright, so it's just playable. Swordplay is a game that goes straight in playable. At first I thought I couldn't die, but it's just a game where you move a sword around and slice people. It's pretty brain numbing, but it's still just playable. Tile Master is just another tile matching game. You pick 2 tiles and match them together, but if you pick too many tiles at a time without matching them, you lose. Not fun for me. Today's Hurdle is a clone of Wordle, but one key difference is that you have to do 5 Wordles in a row. The answer to the previous Wordle is automatically put as your first answer to the next. Wordle in general is a pretty decent game that racks your brain, so we're dropping this in decent. Humor the Mask, I'm pretty sure most of you are familiar with. However, if you aren't familiar, this game is just an arcade-style puzzle game where you have to collect all the dots and avoid obstacles in the course. It has a really nice pixel art style that is really captivating. It's very satisfying when you go through the level really fast without any mistakes. This game is a classic and it's designed very well, so I'm ranking it as fun. This version of Trivia Crack just seems to be a light version of the Trivia Crack you can find on any app store. It's lacking almost all the features of the original, and it's just trivia after trivia, and for that reason I just put it in playable. Turbo Stars is a racing game where you play as a little dude on a skateboard trying to reach first place while you're collecting coins. It's pretty funny to take your opponents and throw them off their boards though. Overall it's fun, but it gets repetitive pretty easy, so I played it in playable. Wood Nuts and Bolts is just a standard puzzle game where you have to remove the nuts and bolts to let the wooden planks fall from the board. It's just playable. Word Wipe is a game that has a 10x10 grid with random letters. The point of the game is to find the words scattered throughout the grid within 120 seconds. It's just like a word search. If you want to test your vocabulary, this could be a little fun game for you. However, I personally just rank it as playable. Words of Wonders Guru is just like the other Words of Wonders. This time, the letters change each time you complete a word, and it's pretty annoying. Overall, it's playable, but it's not better than the last one. Zoo Happy Animals is the last game on the list, and I was not expecting it to be this good. It's a assortment of mini games, and compared to the other games on this list, it was definitely one of the more fun ones. My personal favorite of the mini games was the Monkey Stack one, where you stack the monkeys to reach the bananas at the end. This is a high quality game in my opinion, so it goes in fun. Real quick, I just wanted to thank my returning subscribers. I know I started off this channel as a Hololive clip channel, but I really wanted to take an opportunity to branch out. It took a lot of courage to put myself out here and record my voice, so I hope if any of you made it this far, you'll continue to support me. That's all I have to say for now. Thank you.